my headphones?
He probably was needlessly should I go stronger, quicker?
Hey, good. Once mommy's done, we're gonna do homework, okay? Yeah, you're gonna do the homework with the laptop. If you don't do homework, you're not gonna use the laptop or watch TV anymore.
Who the fuck is that bitch? Epa!
Yo, Gus, hurry up, bruh.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and get started at 12:15.
Gustavo, the people's champ, quarantine radio.
All right, so everybody, can everybody hear me?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, we're about to start it today. So we're right here testing before we start this, just making sure everybody could hear this.
Yeah, your audio is fine. Your video, you're on your laptop bit instead of the camera here.
On
Yeah,
the,
because it's
yeah,
reflecting on this
okay.
one.
Did you disconnect this one?
No, it's connected.
Video settings.
HD.
That's
It's
it.
that one right there.
Not sure why it's off.
Yeah, you said it on good.
Go ahead, find this one.
Yeah,
When we get close.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
People that are not listening,
Yeah,
they turn
exactly.
on, they have
And
to
the-
give
yeah.
us a signal to go in.
Yeah.
I'll call serpents.
Perfect.
I got you.
All right, guys. So welcome. Today, I have one. Today that's going to be helping me in this meeting is my college friend from Cal Poly Pomona. Me and her used to talk about options all the time at Cal Poly Pomona, and she just saw what we were doing, and she was pretty much giving me good information this week. And today she was on board coming in. Explain to you guys more about option trading and helping me. So Sydney, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Sydney. I graduated from Cal Poly Pomona in 2017, so a year before Gustavo. We did study the market. That's basically where it all started at Cal Poly. Then I decided to go into corporate finance, completely different route. And the whole coronavirus affected the company I was working at. We actually just sold it to a private equity company. And I'm here helping Gustavo. I'm putting my knowledge and helping you guys. I want to focus a lot on new members. I have been helping Gustavo this week bring on a lot of members that have no idea on what options is. I want to help you guys. I know a lot of us are going through a hard time, especially right now. And with options, there's income every day, as you guys seen it. So yeah, I'm mainly gonna focus on the new members, helping you guys on keywords that a lot of us I've seen. They're like, is it a call? Is it a put? Day trade? Are we swinging? So I'm gonna focus on putting a tab for all those keywords for new members that come in. You guys are able to jump in right away and be on board with the whole group, not be behind. So when Gustavo makes a call, you guys are able to go ahead and take profit on it as well.
All right, guys. So we're ready today. Remember we were gonna focus on 0 DTE trades. So remember where with the Boeing trade, where we were able to capitalize on that one and make about $2,000 instantly, like with a $1,500 investment. We're gonna focus on scalping. We're gonna retouch on it. I know previous weeks we were able to touch bases on that. We're gonna focus on strangles and what I plan to do with powerhouses such as Tesla and Amazon. And we're also going to focus on gaps in the stock market. So what is an ODTE trade? So ODTE trade is here, let me bring this right over here. So here,
They can see it.
can you guys see the board?
Or should we go closer?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So a ODTE trade is 0 days till expiration. Meaning that it expires that same day. So the reason why we do these contracts is because at this point, these contracts are cheap. They're $30 or $25 contracts. So any shift in movement, and if we see volume in the 1 hour chart, we'll be able to capitalize on that because we would be able to turn that $25 into $40 per se. And if it's $25 trade and you have 2,500 in it, and it increases to $40, that's $4,000. So that's a $1,500 profit, which is what happened to me with Boeing. And I left my Boeing call and it was negative at some point, just to prove to you guys a point. So the reason for that reasoning was to give you guys an insight of FOMO, fear of missing out. A lot of people see gains, but because they don't take risk tolerance into consideration, they never secure their profits. So number one rule is secure your profits, especially with scalping. That's why I don't really do scalping to many of you guys. I don't signal scalping because a lot of you guys, if you guys don't do it right or you guys don't do it effectively, you guys could lose a lot of money. So because that same contract, $25, you guys are running the risk that it'll be worth $10. And that is gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. So
also, I've noticed that a lot of us are on the Robinhood platform, which is the easiest one. However, it limits you. If you don't have at least $25,000 worth of investments, you cannot do any type of day trading. So that's why when Goose is talking about day trading or other strategies that you have to trade within the same day, you're not able to jump on those on Robinhood unless you have more than 25,000. But for all those new members that joined this week, make sure that and I can walk you guys through it because I did see a lot of you guys were having problems getting accepted into TD. So I can go ahead and I'm gonna put a A through Z on how to sign up for TD Ameritrade and how to get accepted. When I got accepted within like 2 days, I think it took. So it's not that hard. You just gotta answer the correct questions and request the correct account so you're able to do this day trading.
Yeah. Okay.
You're enrolled in a TD account, so you're able to take benefit of those profits.
Yeah. And Sydney will do. Me and Cindy will work on getting you guys a tab on the Discord where we could walk you guys how to get a TD account. But specifically, we're looking for a tier 2 cash account. Because for that account, you guys could day trade. So say, for example, you guys start off with your account with $1,000. You guys could day trade up to that day with $1,000. So you guys can buy 3 contracts at $900, flip them that same day, and you won't be marked as a pattern day trader. So TD cash account is pretty. I recommend a lot of you guys to switch over to that platform. It may look a little intimidating at first, but like I said, you'd be able to day trade and you'd be able to lower your risk, especially in these market conditions where the market's just choppy. Friday was like beyond choppy. That's why I didn't feel confident going into any trades until I signaled the one that I signaled, LRCX, and I mean those were pretty well. And I mean we'll see how. I honestly don't know how tomorrow will open, but we'll see. So with 0 DTE trades, so the main here's the new. Okay, so with 0 DTE trade, so let's touch more bases on this one. So 0 days until expiration. So today is, let's say today was a stock market open day, April 19th. So say for example, it's 12:50. Well, my time is 12:50 Pacific Coast time. So 12:50 Pacific Coast time. I signal a contract to expire 4/19, which is today. Market's open 4/19/20 at a $50 strike price. Contract is worth roughly about 0.25 cents. So since the contract's worth 0.25 cents, strike price is 50. The ticker sign is 48.78. So anything below this, you're starting to lose money. Everything above this, you're starting to gain money. So say for example, we see a increase, a pump at the last minute of the stock market. The volume increases. There's a huge pickup in people buying. So this position is now worth $50, which we saw for the Boeing example. This same contract you guys bought for $25 will now be worth 0.60 potentially. So say for example, you had $250 in this ODT trade. This will now be worth $600 in the OTD trade. So this is why I like ODT trades. If you guys follow patterns, you guys follow pre-market, usually there's always at the last 10 minutes of the day, there's always movement in price. So the ODT is very effective, but it has to be done right. And FOMO you cannot have FOMO here. As soon as you see profits, you guys have to secure the profits, because as you guys saw with the Boeing example I sent you guys, I saw $1,200 profits and immediately I saw negative $1,000 profits. I did that to prove a point. Yeah, I still knew there was going to be more shift in Boeing because the volume was picking up. So that's why I wasn't too worried about it. And I still ended the day with a $2,000 profit. So ODT trade, very, very good, but has to be done right. And I'm scared that many of you guys will go into ODT trade and lose money because you guys don't take risk tolerance into consideration, because we don't know what would happen, especially in these market conditions. Is there anything you want to add with ODT?
Yeah, basically just be careful, because I did see a lot of people that were doing pretty good, and they got into some Tesla calls and they thought it was going to keep rising up, and then all of a sudden it just dropped. So Gus and I have always kept a 40% profit. Right when you hit 40%, you want to secure your profits, because as it can go up, it can drop as well. And once it starts dropping, we can lose profit drastically pretty quick.
All right. And so now we're going to focus on, so with the ODT trades, any questions, you guys can feel free to email me. I'll start signaling more of these, but just take in consideration, these are very, very, very high risk. We must always ensure that volume is there, volume in both the contract and the ticker. So volume has to be there. Open interest has to be there. And we always have to keep in mind that this is, when going into this, you guys have to expect anything that can happen. You could either win, or if anything goes wrong, you guys could lose. But it's essentially, if done correctly, this could like bring you guys up really good. Yeah, quick high. I know a lot of members. There's some members that went into Boeing. They put a few $100s in there, and they made a few $100s. And I mean, I essentially, they took profits. They saw profits and they took it. and they're able to day trade because they have platforms that allow them to day trade. I don't recommend these market conditions to be using Robinhood unless you have $25,000 or more. Robinhood is just very, 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 very risky right now in these market conditions. Anything could happen. You guys we saw a red day, then we saw a really green day, then we saw a really red day, and then we saw a choppy day. Anything could happen. It's like the wild, wild west right now. So we're gonna touch bases on scalping. So you guys see me scalp where I'm in and out quick. We've touched bases in this previous weeks, but scalping. So with scalping, it's called 20-minute trades, 20 minutes or less trades. So when we do scalping, me and Sydney actually helped me on a scalp trade this week. We're gonna give a ticker that she went into, but we didn't signal in our chat. She went into Netflix, but none of us in our chat went to Netflix. We were playing Roku because I saw a huge gap that needed to be filled on Roku, and which is why I signaled it. And I know a lot of members were very successful with Roku this week. So what is scalping? So I call these the 20-minute trades, 20 minutes or less trades, excuse me. For scalping, I know for a fact that's gonna go up. What do? We scan the pre-market. So what I have every morning, I have a watch list. In my watch list, I take in consideration what happened during the pre-market. What were the highs? What were the lows? And when I analyze the pre-market, we're able to capitalize on that because I know what was happening before the market even started. Before the market even started, I now know what was the highest, what was the shift in movement, what people were buying and what people weren't buying, what price point were people dumping the stock and what people were buying into the stock. So whenever I give you guys a watch list in the morning, I tell you guys if BA hits 150, buy in. If BA hits 146, issue puts. That I'm always scanning the pre-market to get these trends. So scalping, let's 20-minute or less trades.
They need TD as well.
Yes, and you guys need TD as well. If you guys aren't on the TD platform, Robinhood, to be able to do this effectively, you guys have to have TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, or $25,000 or more in Robinhood. So with scalping, 20-minute or less trades. So with scalping, do you wanna touch bases on what you saw with Netflix?
Yeah.
And I'll let me share you guys the screen so you guys can see as I'm
with the chart as I explain it.
Yeah. So let me show them the screen. Okay. Hey, Jose, can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So with this one, all right, perfect.
If you guys have any questions so far, go ahead and ask them. We will be answering all of them. I see a lot of you guys say I have a stupid questions. None of them are stupid. At some point, I did not know any of these terms. I wasn't aware of what strategies to use. So go ahead, please ask us. That's why you're part of this membership, because we want you guys to understand and be able to utilize all those strategies to make profits every day. Especially to those that are new, don't be scared to ask, is it a call, what's a put? I had some people that joined last week that I was able to explain to them what was a call, what was a put, and everybody that has been members are pretty friendly. I've seen everybody helping each other, so please ask questions. That's why we're here to help you guys.
Okay, so
You have the
so Netflix. Here, you want to do the BA graph instead, or the Netflix graph? Let's do the BA graph. A lot of members were into BA.
okay.
Sometimes I pop in. Let me know when you guys wanna.
Go ahead. Right now he's going through the charts.
So I like playing BA a lot because BA has a lot of shift and movement throughout the day. So Sydney was helping me this week analyze pre-market, and she was mentioning some interesting patterns she found. So all right, let's do it.
So are they able to see the screen now?
Yeah, they're able to see the screen.
Okay, so pre-market, it's that blue shade area that you guys see. Goose is going over it. That's before the market's open, which it's going to show a lot of trends once the market opens that we want to take advantage of, those, especially on the resistance points. So the resistance point in BA was
right here. So the resistance line was at 149.6.
0.42.
0.42.
So what is that telling you? Before pre-market, that's when it hit its highest point and it wasn't able to resist it. So if you see the line trending to the right side along the day that once market has been open, you're going to be able to go in the market, put a call because you know it hit the highest resistance points before pre-market. And this is where you're going to start making a high call profit.
Yeah.
So where did it hit it here?
So right here, it hit it right here. It broke the 149.42 at this area right here. And
And
as
it
you guys could
just
see, you guys could, yeah, it skyrocketed it. But that's when you have to draw a resistance line, look at previous data to when to secure. This is where people, their biggest mistakes happen. They think stocks just go up. Stocks don't just go up. They're never in a straight line. So as soon as you see profits, you're supposed to capitalize. That's why we call scalping the 20-minute or less trades. Right here, we saw when we saw the previous market high. Once it broke the previous market high, it skyrocketed it. But it doesn't just always skyrocket it. Yeah, there was a sell-off right here, and if you were to stay on that sell-off, if you would have rode the downhill, it would have killed your theta, and you would, for example, would have been losing out on profits. Essentially, the whole previous day was at a flat pattern. I kept when we were doing the ODTE trades, me and Sydney saw that it had to break previous highs. So that's why I felt confident. It broke the previous highs here, but it didn't break it here throughout the day. So it's right here. So as soon as the reason why I signaled the ODT trade, as you guys can see right here, it started to break it again, but it didn't do any movement until it broke right here. But this is what these lines show. So these lines show the next support levels. So I felt confident in when it broke this support level right here, and I was able to capitalize right here in the ODTE trade. I went in somewhere around right here, and then this is where you guys saw my increases, and this is where I was trying to prove my point. Where right here is where we lost, where I was trying to prove my point and where I lost $1,000, but it didn't go under. This is why I didn't feel too worried. It didn't go under the support level right here, which then skyrocketed a little bit. Gains weren't as beautiful as they were right here, but I wanted to prove my point, and I still made profit. This is my setup. This is how I have my setup. If you guys want a YouTube tutorial, there's a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to set up your graphs on YouTube, but this is how I like to set up my graph. This is how my eyes read the graphs the best. These lines right here are resistance lines, and they're able to tell me when a price is broken and when a price is not broken. So throughout the day, I'm just analyzing and scanning market when to enter. Friday, main reason I didn't want to enter any position, the market was super choppy. We had a great week. I mean, for the most part, the only signal this week that failed was the Amazon lotto call, but every other signal hit. Some of you guys even bought contracts worth $300. Wednesday, Thursday, you guys were seeing Tesla at $7,000 off $300 profit. That's crazy. When I signaled it on Monday, and I mean, yeah.
Jose, can you pin this website? So basically, this is a free website where you can go, you can create an account and for free and watch each stock's chart, which helps you watch the volume, the pre-market. It's pretty helpful.
Tradingview.com?
Yes.
And also take consideration this right here, these bars in the bottom right here, this is volume. Throughout the day, volume can decreasing. But once volume is broken at a certain level, for example, volume started to break. Volume started high, then it started to break. But as soon as it started to come up, I started scanning it. But it wasn't until that price point it broke. When I say enter 150, but with volume, you have to ensure that this is here, that the volume is higher than when it opened. If it's higher than when it opens, it's gonna rocket. Ticker's gonna rocket. But if it's not higher than when it opens, you're gonna be struggling in the scalps. So you got to take that into consideration. So remember, analyze pre-market and also make sure that volume is there. So if you have a high at a pre-market and you got an algo affecting the price and your price is right here at this point, you're not going to see any profits because the volume's not there. So always make sure volume is there, because a lot of people might go into position thinking it's going to go up because you guys see shift in movements, but because volume isn't there, it's going to kill your theta, it's going to kill your premiums, and it's going to mainly affect a lot of your other Greeks because of time decay. Is there anything else you want to add, Sydney?
No, I think that's, you said there was some questions, right, Jose?
Yeah.
Go ahead and go in here. Let's see here. Why do you prefer the hiking ashy candlesticks?
What was that?
Why do you prefer the hiking ashy candlesticks? Not sure what that is.
Why do we prefer candlestick charts? That's,
Yeah. So
candlesticks is very, to me, it makes sense a lot because it tells you who's buying, who's selling. So to me, that's where, if you see a long candlestick with, it lets you know how many, when is it okay to go in. If you're seeing a lot of sales, a lot of buying, that's where it's letting you know, hit it. That's why, is that, I think I may not understand your question, right? Is that why we prefer candlesticks rather than line charts? Because with
Yeah.
line charts, you cannot see that data.
So that question's from Dre. Dre, go ahead and re-ask that question. Let's see here.
So,
do you guys use scanners too?
Yes. So let me re-emphasize on the candlestick question. So what Sydney is trying to say is that candlestick, think of it as a positive and a negative battery. So with candlesticks, it's positive and negative. So if it's a positive, you see a bullish. Yeah.
Maybe you want to zoom in so
Yeah.
you see that.
So with a candlestick, you see the right here, the positive and negative. If the negative, there's a bearish effect throughout the market. So if you see these pointing down, I call these negatives, because these is where you're pointing down in this green line, the resistance line I'm drawing. That's when if it reaches that, there's a bearish sign. So if you see this line I have right here, there's bearish throughout the day. That's why I'm not going to enter this position. But on the contrary, if you see a positive candlestick on the top, you go into a position because you see that there's a lot of spike in volume and there's a bullish effect now. But then
I think he meant Hikanashi candlesticks. Hikanashi candlesticks.
So when a Hikinashi candlestick is not filled in, it's just basically telling you that the candlestick's not fully filled in like these. So these candlesticks are not filled in, which is if you analyze the previous market stick, this is a full candlestick. So once you guys see a full candlestick, that's when you guys go in, because you guys just saw a big green candlestick instead of these small ones right here. But the Hikinashi candlesticks weren't filled because the pre-market high was never allowed it to, until you saw it break the pre-market high, and you guys saw the full candlestick was able to form, and then that's when we were able to capitalize on this 20-minute scalp. I hope that answered your question. Any other question?
Yeah. So the use of scanners.
Okay.
And, what are the key factors during pre-market scanning?
So pre-market scan is just analyzing what shift in movement happened during the market. So with scanners, we don't use scanners. Essentially, our eyes are our scanners. So we're able to study how the stock reacted pre-market. Pre-market usually happens from 1 Pacific. Keep in mind that we are Pacific Standard Time, and my timing is our Pacific Standard Time. So the pre-market is from 1 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. So what did the stock do in these hours?
And the resistance points.
And the resistance points, yes. So because right here in the pre-market, there was a huge sell-off at this point. I was able to know that there will be a buy-in at this mark right over here. Another question was that why does during the week I get that why did Tesla skyrocket a lot? The main reason that Tesla skyrocketed is because there's a lot of short squeeze, and there's a lot of, so people borrow stock to buy stock. So there was a lot of people who borrowed stock and was able to sell, and there was a huge buy-in point at the sense, and there was a lot of people that were there was a huge buy-in. So meaning that the people were just buying and buying and buying because it broke the $600 level. Once it broke the $600 level, people wanted to go in, and Tesla had a bull week. Those are the reasons why we see spike increases in that sense. Is there anything you want to add?
No, that's
Okay.
the resistance
Any
points
other
is the
questions?
key factor.
Does the volume affect the price when we buy or sell?
The volume
Yeah.
does affect the price. Do you want to touch it, or do you want me to touch
Go
it?
ahead.
Okay.
Just show them the
Okay,
charts if you
so-
zoom in.
Yeah, so right here, you guys can see the volume in a chart. Right here is you guys see the volume in right here, spike. So when volume spikes, the graph spikes. So you guys saw right here, there was volume here at this point. So, and if you guys would have done my scalps at this sense right here, you guys would have capitalized right here. But the thing is, you guys have to take this into consideration. Once volume starts to decrease, you guys have to get out, because if you guys were to be in a low volume trade right here, that's when you guys see that the ticker is gonna go down. Usually volume gives me a good indicator of when to get out of a position. As a sell-off happens, volume tends to go lower.
Also,
So yeah,
to add to that, I've noticed a lot of times Goose does a call, and 5 minutes later, someone's trying to jump in, and Goose says, I would have liked you to gone in when I said boom. That's usually his hit that volume, because like he just said, it does affect the price. So if you're going in at a higher volume, you're not going to make as much profit. It's already reached its highest volume. Now it's going to start decreasing. So that's why it's very important that when he makes those calls at the volume, he's looking, he's analyzing. You guys go ahead and make that call, because the volume's going to start decreasing.
and to add to that, yes, I know a lot of people say, are you still in this trade? Are you still in this trade? Yes, so that's another thing about option and scalping and the whole sense of this. We have to be quick, and we have to, if you guys are doing this full time, you guys have to take into consideration that you guys have to be on the graphs. You guys have to be on the signals, because anything can happen fast. So I would also love for you guys to study 3 positions, study their pre-markets and learn those positions. Like AMD, I know AMD from the back of my hand. I know AMD because I was able to, that was one of my successful trades back in October, where I was able to buy into like the lows of $30, and I rode the wave up until $60. I had 1-year contracts, and those contracts are essentially just giving me money every week, because I mean, AMD was just on a straight line up, and time decay wasn't into effect because this position was to expire in a year from now. So this is what you call leaps. So when you do leaps, is like, for example, the oil call I gave you guys. Right now, it's a perfect time to buy oil. Oil's, the USO position's at $4.15. That's insanely cheap. A year ago, that same position was at $13. If we see a spike in even 50% at $8 in that position, our premiums for our contracts are going to be worth gold. So that's why I take consideration for you guys to even invest into leaps. Yeah, there a lot of you guys want to see fast money, but also you guys also want to have something to, like, in the long term, ride it up the long term, because I mean, these contracts would essentially be worth a really good amount of money. Because if you're in a position of oil, when in our current president, everything's marked with news. Our current president is not going to allow for oil to go any lower. He's going to come any day now. Mark my words, he's going to come any day now that he reached an agreement, this and that, and that's when oil is going to skyrocket. I'm slowly adding into my positions. I did signal a call on Friday for USO for you guys to buy in. The contracts were insanely cheap.
Below $4,
yeah,
I believe, when I went in.
Exactly. So USO is insanely cheap. So with USO, the $5 contract was $67, and I mean, if it passes $5, doing the quick math, that same contract could be worth essentially $600, $800 if it reaches the $6 and $7 mark. So those are very good leaps to have. I know I do have some leaps on Tesla 1000 a year out. I was able to buy in when we saw the market lows. I do know I'm gonna, as soon as I see more economic data come out, I'm gonna buy SPY puts leaps. I'm still not letting go of SPY put, because I mean, I lost a lot of money on SPY puts, but the reason why I told myself I need to get my money back off SPY puts. I mean, this week kind of made up for the SPY puts, but I told myself I need to make back the SPY put money that I made. So as soon as I see economic data, as soon as I see more unemployment numbers coming in, I'm going to go into SPY puts. But this time we're going to do a little differently. We're going to put contracts out to January of 2021. Premiums are a little more expensive, but they'll multiply a real good amount if we get them a year out, or at the sense a few months out.
I have a few more questions, so let's see here. This might be a little loaded one. Can you use PG as an example, which was a call last week? It had a lot of pre-market movement.
Okay, so PG, who said that?
That's Steve H.
Okay, so with PG, we'll study it. To be honest, I know one of our moderators, Sarah, was able to was able to signal this one. The reason she signaled it is because she saw a lot of movement. She has an advanced software where she sees what hedge funds are buying in the millions, what hedge funds are buying in the huge marks. So if we see PG just studying this graph, so in this graph movement, we saw that here. Oh, and this is a beautiful setup actually. So we saw that the highs was at $124. So if you guys analyze that, this wasn't a buy-in point on Friday, nowhere near. But if you guys would have ODTE traded this right here, once it broke the $124, this would have been a beautiful trade because the premiums were going to be cheap. And I'm actually right now just looking at the graph. I'm mad I didn't get into this position, but I mean, it's a lot of graphs to get into during the day. It's you guys should see it. I have like 10 graphs open during the day just scanning. So 124.02 is a resistance line. Once it broke it, as you guys can see right here, the pre-market high, we see that it skyrocketed in volume. Here, you guys can see 124. Once it broke 124, right here, once it broke it, you guys saw a wave right up. But this is where you guys had to test the second resistance lines at 124.96. But you had to test this right up from previous market data. And I'll go more into it when we have a little bit more time. I know time is a little cutting short, but as you guys can see, the pre-market broke. We see right here, spiked in price. Pre-market is really good. Another thing I know me and Quincy were doing throughout the whole week, we were following what SPY doing. If SPY took a hit down, all the positions were taking a hit down. SPY took a hit up, all the positions were taking a hit up. We're taking a right up. So keep in mind that SPY follows the whole market in general. So I have SPY on just a screen. I have one computer screen just dedicated for SPY. I do know that SPY goes down. If you guys want to play travel industry tickers, such as MGM, Marriott, if SPY goes down, these positions are going down even more. And if you're able to analyze the pre-markets, you guys could make a pretty good amount of money on these because these MGM, Marriott, and all these tickers, they have no reason to be up. They have no sells, and any sell-off in SPY would be a massive sell-off for these positions because I mean, right now they're generating no revenues, but as soon as the economy recovers, these are the first ones that are gonna boom up. If there's no recession, if there's no what's the word I'm trying to look for? If there's no bad news with these symbols.
Okay.
Right.
We got a few more. I'm not sure if you want to go over.
Let's finish this and
Yeah.
then we'll on top of the questions for whoever wants to stay. But we'll finish on the last two topics we have for today.
Yeah. So don't worry, guys. We'll try our best to answer you guys' question. I'll have a tab on the Discord, and also don't worry. I'll send out the ebook today. I've been busy with a few things. This week was kind of like just on the computers. Hold on.
Were we on already?
I see you guys.
Okay, you see us?
Yeah, I see the screen.
Okay, but what about us?
Yeah, I see you guys.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see the whiteboard?
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Do this here.
I'm gonna go into strangles and then gaps and if
Don't bet. I got the dumb petty girl. So here, just we'll do this.
Yeah.
We'll go over triangles. Put this the put side, finish the call side.
and one's gonna go down, but one's gonna have a higher.
So this one goes up 500%. This one goes 50%. Fine, it's profit. I'll jump in.
I'm gonna do the 10K to 50 example. Oh, right there, do we see each other? Yeah. There it is. Okay. So we're gonna go into strangles. I saw they were talking about it last week that we are looking into going in strangles basically because they're gonna start reporting earnings on some of the stocks. You guys mentioned Amazon or
Yeah,
Apple?
Amazon and
Apple is the ones that we're looking
No,
at.
Amazon and Tesla. Apple is a good one to do too.
I think they were mentioning Apple too.
Yeah.
Basically, what's a strangle? You're gonna go put money into a put and put money into a call. Why are we gonna do that? Because basically, one's gonna take off. You're gonna lose money on one. Let's say put that didn't work for us, so it's gonna go down. You lost 10% of your money. So why did we put a call too? Because this option is gonna take off higher. Now we're off at 50% increase on the money you put for both of them. So yes, as long as you lost money here, you still made a bigger profit. So let's say we lost 10K, but we made 50K profit over here. This is basically because the only way we can lose money here if the option states it's steady and it doesn't move up or down. That's the only way. But most of the time, especially on stocks like Apple, Tesla, Amazon, you're never gonna see it to just stay at the same price it was before earnings. So this is one of the strategies and options that we are gonna start using, especially now that they're gonna start reporting earnings. Do you want to go more into this?
So with strangles, I would only do this if you guys want to play earnings. So with strangles, we have to see a high price movement. If we don't see a high price movement, we're essentially not. If the ticker opens flat, our premiums both sides are gonna be burnt. So reason why I say we have to play these with powerhouses such as Apple, Tesla, and Amazon is because we always see spikes and increases $50 easy, no problem, or decreases in $50 easy, no problem. So if we would have done a strangle with Amazon, I would have put in $50,000 into one side, $50,000 into one side. My premiums would have been burned on my puts. It would have been down 50%, 20 to 25,000. But my calls, my $50,000 calls are now worth $100,000, $120,000. I would have took that hit because I only lost $25,000 to make $75,000 profit. And essentially, I'm still profiting $50,000 doing this strategy. And to put it into context, let's say we do a strangle. Okay, it's earnings. We're doing a strangle on Amazon and we're doing a strangle on Tesla for both earnings. We put $500 in, right? $500 in puts, $500 into calls. We see Amazon go up $50 overnight. Yeah, this is probably gonna be now worth $80. But then this $500 call, because there's a significant amount of price movement. This is now gonna be worth essentially almost $3,500. We just saw a huge spike because the reason why, because we saw a $50 increase. But say if we would have saw a decrease, this $500 would have been vice versa. And when doing a strangle, keep in mind, you guys have to go equal both ways. Put the same amount of money into puts, same amount of money into calls. Unless you got a really, really, really great strong feeling and you want to hedge a little bit where you're putting 25% into puts and 75% into calls, your 25% hedge serves as a hedge in a way because your 25% puts are kind of saving you and kind of going to help you break even if it doesn't decrease. And usually this strategy best works for when you're playing positions such as earnings, when you're going into earnings.
Can you put any stop losses on strangle?
Can we put any stop losses on strangles? You could put any stop losses. You would have to go in your platform and you guys would have to put the premiums, how much you guys are willing to lose. Essentially, yeah, if for example, if you could have had a strangle on Amazon, Amazon would start keep increasing, and you're like, okay, I just want to keep my call position, gaining me money, but my put position, I don't even care for it. I could just put a stop loss at 1.50, which $150, which would essentially of being at 500, you're now at 150. So yes, very possible stop loss on strangles, and I would actually recommend it. Or I would recommend secure profits and just reset your day. Who would love to make $50,000 in a day?
Are strangles best for ODTE, or what's the ideal expiration date for those contracts, 1 or 2 weeks out?
For strangles, I would definitely recommend doing 2 weeks out because your premiums could be burned. If there's a company opening up Monday, if we're in Monday and there's a company opening up earnings on Monday, Tuesday, I would definitely strongly recommend that same week if you're very confident into it. But if the earnings reported on Thursday, Friday, I wouldn't recommend. We saw Tesla increase $50. Our $800 calls were worthless unless you're in the money. So what in the money, a little refresher, what in the money means is that you're around that position. Out the money, we know we made a lot of money this week with out the money positions with Amazon and Tesla. The reason why we made a lot of money with these was because the shift in movement was really, really, really great. I mean, we lost a lot on Friday. The reason why my lotto call with Amazon was a failure was because there was no price movement. Mainly the reason for that was because economy expectations to open up, and Amazon's really, really, really going to hurt on that because mainly all these competitors are going to reopen.
Is there more questions on that?
Let's see, options, flow bots. Let's see, do you guys use market scanners like option flow bots?
So I'm right now negotiating with a developer. We're in the process of getting a flow chart where we get all of the $1 million orders. So essentially, if you have access to the Discord channel, we're going to get what all the huge hedge funds are buying. And usually these are called golden sweeps. Golden sweeps have a 95% success rate. So if we get inside information of, and the developer is right now formulating it the way I want to see it, how I visualize it. So I want to see a system where we're getting constant golden sweep. Hedge funds buys a $5 million order, like my members could just look at that and go into it. And essentially, if you do these, I would definitely do these scalping methods. And that's going to be a very useful tool for a lot of my members. And I'm going to have, I'm definitely going to include that. Right now, I'm just in works with the developer, trying to figure out some stuff.
I think we should wrap up gaps pretty quick, and then we can stay after to answer any
Okay.
questions if there's still more.
Sounds good.
Basically, gaps is pretty straightforward once you understand what gaps are. If you see a chart and it's increasing, then there's a big gap, there's that gap, and you see it going down. That's people buying when the market's closed. People that are not like us. These are hedge funds that are investing their money, and this tells you there's going to be something happening here. And that's where we're going to say, hey, we saw that huge increase. They know some info. This basically, they know info that we don't know. And that's where they're making those moves. And it's off the market, like I said. So we're able to see. That's why go say the gases are in. I see it as information that insiders knowing, and that's why they're putting more money or taking their profit out, because there's going to be something going on in that stock once it opens. So this is information we should take into consideration when you're studying your charts. Sure, so you're able to know what they're doing. And these are people that are investing millions into hedge funds that are investing millions into stocks, and they're getting that inside info on what to do with the market. We're gonna go more deep into it. It is 1 o'clock already. So if you guys want to start asking more questions, we will be staying after. But basically, these are the topics we covered today.
Just a little bit, just to add to gaps. Also, one of the things I look for in a graph when we see gaps is how many people bought into this position. How many people bought Boeing at 150 with volume? These people are not going to sell their positions if it keeps increasing, especially hedge funds. They're going to go write it up the long term. So if I see a gap in that sense where there's a huge buy-in at 150, but the position's at 160, we have a $4 gap. I know, for example, that gap needs to be filled. A lot of people have to buy in from 146 to 150. Once they buy in and that gap clears with volume, ticker's going to skyrocket. And all under educational materials and the ebook I'm writing with my business partner, Ruben, we'll re-emphasize that as well. We're also going to give members inside information we're doing with Amazon stores, how to like generate money with, residual, getting into an Amazon store, and it fully automated. It just buys all of your products. You don't do nothing. It's fully automated. It's called it's more of a system that has algos plugged in. It has these strong technology that scans the whole marketplace, and I'll emphasize that more in my ebook. But these Amazon stores are pretty. I mean, we've already had a few months in it, and there's been it's been very nice return on investment on that's 8 to 10 months. And on my ebook, I'll retouch that, and we'll also retouch on Airbnb and how we could make money buying Airbnbs with other people's money, or not even with other people's money, with using these loans that will pay off in the long term. I mean, we'll retouch that basis, but for now, let's just stick with stocks. Any questions?
Yeah, I guess quite a few.
All right.
Let's see here. Rolling back up.
Ebook's not going to be accessible today. I'm still drafting that. I'm going to send out the ebook about swing trading. I'll have that out to you guys today. The one I'm reading about how to effectively swing trade. I know a lot of you guys will be able to really, it'll be really useful for my members.
So this question popped up a few times. It asks, how do you know what the resistance line is?
So the resistance line. So remember what I told you guys when you're scanning pre-market, the resistance point is the market that has to break. So if I'm looking at the previous, and my bots actually, you guys could actually type whatever ticker you want on the Discord, and we have bots that actually already does this for you because the bots are scanning pre-market. We have a lot of tools on Discord that you guys can effectively take into good use. Our bots definitely charts that out for you guys as well.
Cool. And then as a rule of thumb, should we buy when volume is high and sell when volume is low?
Essentially, but also some positions do go up with low volume. It's like, for example, like SPY, it had no volume this past month, and it went up over 60 points. It's insane with no volume. But the reason for that was because of outcomes, federal money being pumped into that position.
Okay. Let's see here. Whoops, also straggles. Okay. Scanners. Tolerance.
Someone said, how do I buy when buying puts and calls? How do I buy the position? So the position, it essentially has to have volume. So under the chart, it tells you guys if the position has high volume, has high open interest. So if it has high volume, that's what I'm looking for. Because if you buy a position with high volume, your premiums won't take a hit because there's a lot of people buying into it.
There are questions are coming in quick. Hold on, let's see here.
TD Ameritrade, cash to tier account, cash to tier account.
Tell them we will be posting that.
We'll post on the Discord. We'll post a introduction on how to navigate and how to sign up for that.
On educational material options for beginners.
Is there such thing like what's considered good value, like good volume on the stock? Like what would you consider like solid volume?
Well, everyone has like different
tolerance.
yeah,
so it varies on the
yeah,
stock.
it varies on the stock.
company.
Yeah, exactly. Like Tesla has an insane amount of volume.
Because everyone's pumping.
Everyone wants to be.
That just means people are just fucking pumping money into it.
Yeah, because everyone wants Tesla.
Yeah.
And the reason why on last Sunday when I drove, I gave you guys the resource of my watch list. Last Sunday, if you guys paid attention, I told you guys Tesla breaks 600. That's it. It's gonna move. And what did it do? It did move. It's at 740. If you guys would have capitalized, that's a 140-point increase during the week. That's insane. And I mean, we had that watch list. And the watch list breaks 600. That's it. It's gonna move. It's just gonna go up. This week, I'll figure out my watch list. And I mean, if you guys would have played Tesla on Monday, once it broke the $600 level, you guys would have done 750 calls. These calls were worth $300 when we bought in. That's why my challenge was so successful, because we bought Tesla when it was at 600. We bought $750 calls at $300. Once it skyrocketed, that same position was worth $7,000. Who wouldn't like to turn $300 into $7,000? I mean, it was, and because wasn't able to capitalize on that really well because I was having trouble with Robinhood with fulfillments of orders. So that's why Robinhood just pissed me off. And I mean, I'm just TD Ameritrade.
Yeah. So I think it's a good thing to kind of go over different platforms. A lot of people are asking, how to do certain things on certain platforms. So maybe just let everyone know that it's going to be different for all of them.
Yeah.
Also, what they're learning right now, it may not always apply for one platform, right?
Yeah,
so maybe have everyone download all the platforms and then kind of like fund those.
Yeah, so I mean that's another strategy. Download all the platforms. Download Webull, download TD Ameritrade, download E-Trade, download Robinhood. Fund them like $100 each account and just play around with it and see what platform you like the best. Essentially, I'm just over Robinhood now. I mean, if I don't have $25,000 in Robinhood or more, I'm not even gonna touch Robinhood.
Okay.
especially for my challenges.
All right,
Do you have other accounts besides TD?
Yeah, I got Weeble, TD, and Charles
But I
Schwab.
think we should push them to sticking with TD.
Yeah.
Because we don't want people having
Yeah, TD.
multiple money
yeah.
in different accounts
Yeah.
that they're not using. We're really gonna start using TD more. Like I said, I should have something by tomorrow morning on how to join TD because I saw some of us were struggling on joining it. So I'll be more than glad to help you guys.
Cool.
Yeah, that was very important because that could delay you like a week or 2 weeks from trading. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It
yeah.
delayed I had
Exactly.
money there and I couldn't
Yeah.
use it
And you didn't.
because
You
of one
couldn't,
little click.
yeah, you
you know,
couldn't
so-
capitalize on such a great week.
Yeah.
And then you have to call and get approved, so
Yeah.
it's a very tedious process.
Yeah,
It takes
and I mean,
hours.
I'm happy with the outcome of this week. There's a lot of other trade. I have friends in other trades that run other trades. I mean, we don't throw shade. We're like, we feel like a community, and these other trade groups were like, guys, how do you do it? Like, we were just getting killed both sides. Well, the reason we did it was because we have such a great team. We had Quincy on the scanning the market. We had Sarah getting the high volume accounts. We had my brother, scanning the graphs, drawing resistance line. We had Derek like looking for other like gold and stuff. Like we feel like we have such an awesome team that we are able to capitalize on that, because I mean there was people that went into positions and it just wasn't a good week for a lot of groups, and I mean I had a very, 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 very good.
Cool. We got a YouTube question here.
Yeah.
So what is a bullish coil? Please explain. Because you normally say this, this is forming a bullish coil. How do you identify that?
Okay, so bullish coil. So when we're analyzing the graphs, I see different trends. So for CODX, when I signaled that last week, I saw a lot of the MU line moving alongside the positive candlestick. So as I saw that moving towards the positive candlestick, once it broke the price, it's gonna skyrocket. The reason why I signaled what's that position's name? I saw the same movement. It had the same bullish coil movement as CODX did a week ago. So that's why I told a lot of people LRCX, it had the same bullish coils, and it was right. I mean, a lot of people could secure profits at the end. There was a good positioning towards it because it had to just rocket. And a lot of people before the end of the day, it was pretty good at the end of the day. I mean, I'm keeping that. I kept it because I mean, I still think it has a lot of movement, but I mean, this strategy works when we don't have any coronavirus. I mean, this could go south because of the coronavirus. Any news could definitely kill this. But once we're in a stable market, I mean, where everything's good, mainly a lot of my trends will work for, graph movements. But right now it's mainly 80% news related and 20% graph related.
There's a lot of questions there. I know we're not gonna get over all of them.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I promise we'll get to most of you guys' questions. You guys feel free on Discord, just ask questions.
Message us.
Yeah, or message us, message me or Sydney. Sydney's a moderator on the chat. But like, keep this in mind. If you guys have any questions, I want Discord to be like a community. I want you guys to ask each other questions at the same time. I'll have my moderators and we will be scanning. If anyone's giving false information, we'll definitely call it out. Like, hey, no, it's not how it works. Or I want you guys to feel like a community here. We want us all to effectively, be a family in a sense, be a stock trading community, and essentially all help each other out to succeed. We all want to succeed. I mean, option trading is I don't have much option trading. I've been trading stocks for quite a while, but option trading is a new concept for me. I grasped onto it quick, so I don't see why any of you guys can't, grasp onto it quick. And I mean, and sometimes, number one rule, if you guys see you guys had a great day, insane profits, try to reset. Sometimes, like for example, if you guys would have continued playing Friday, I mean, I know a lot of you guys were eager to get into trades on Friday, but that's why I played it safe. We had a great week. Friday, I mean, we had to reset a little bit because, I mean, there is a choppy market. There's no volume anywhere until the end. I know we did the Shopify play. I know we one of the members made $850 off of Shopify play. I mean, that was very impressive. Off ODT trade, I made $4,000 off a 10-minute trade. I mean, it was insane at the end. But I mean, What I'm trying to get to is let trades come to you. Don't chase trades. A lot of people fail because they're chasing trades. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a month ago, we all chased SPY, and look what happened to us. We were burned, and just let the trades come to us. And that's why me and Sydney recommended for you guys to switch over to TD Ameritrade. I want you guys to be able to scalp and day trade. I don't want you guys swinging these market conditions. Too risky.
And to watch trading views so when they know how to sell.
Exactly. And then we pinpoint in trading view. I want you guys to get an account, try to look at a YouTube tutorial on how to set up your graphs.
Because we're gonna start setting up our own YouTube account so they can start following us.
Okay.
Follow us on Instagram and YouTube.
Yes. And we're right now organizing our YouTube. Me and the team's organizing a YouTube channel, so that way you guys can take advantage of our strategies. I like how I set up my graphs, and I know a lot of people that have been in the industry for years, and they're like, "Guys, wow, graphs is amazing!" Like, so easy to read. I mean, as you guys saw the pre-market, I made it so like you guys could read it really good. But I also want you guys to take advantage of the different resources in our chat, like the resistance point with the bots. Like, the bots literally tell you what to buy. You guys have that tool at your fingertips, and right now the developer, I'm negotiating with him, and I'll have the golden sweeps too, like what people are buying millions, 1.5 millions. So you guys can get your hands on that as well.
Cool. Let's see.
So guys on the chat, is there a way to like know what each bot does? Like, can we?
Yeah, so if you guys want like a manual for the bot, so if you guys go into the channel The Plug, under the channel The Plug, he essentially if you put exclamation point help, it gives you a manual of what the bot can do. The bot does from anywhere. It tells you the stats from the coronavirus, like what the resistance line, what's the cost to put ratio, like there's 60% calls in this position, 40% puts into that position. So I mean, you take it to good use. It's very, very effective.
This video is gonna stay in YouTube.
Yes, this video will be on YouTube right now. It's on your YouTube, that's just your name, so like a personal one. So
Okay.
we'll probably look to start switching it over to like a
options. Yeah, to the options.
on Wall Street. And but right now, this video I already linked it in the chat, so then people can go back to it, replay it.
Perfect. All right, guys, and I mean that's it for today. Any questions, just on the Discord, just feel free to ask any further questions, and we'll reply. Right now, I'm just gonna work on sending out the ebook to everyone who dropped their email on the educational material. If anyone else wants the ebook, there's still time to drop your email. I'll send it out right now. And thank you for joining us, and we'll start scanning the market for tomorrow, and we'll start, hopefully we get another good week. And see you guys next week.